3, 2, 1.
Hi, this is Victoria Wolders, your host of My Kids Locker Empathy Tales podcast. We're so glad that you've joined us today, and I look forward to sharing with you a brand new story that I shared to my kids at their bedside. All of these stories are meant to share positive virtues. I am a mother, a teacher, and a mindful educational storyteller. My point of sharing all these stories is for that everyone who's listening will be able to come away with a deeper understanding of what it means to be compassionate, empathetic, and give some perspective taking. Well, today's episode is called The Beautiful Blue Silver Village. This is a very unique story because it's about 4 different types of villages. These 4 villages are turquoise, sky, water, and sea. They all have children with different colors of blue, but as soon as the children cry, their tears are silver and they stain their blue face silver. You will learn today about what shame is. You will learn today about the power of shame, but there will be a point in the story where it'll talk about empathy and talk about celebrating people's differences, acknowledging where everyone is from, and acknowledging the importance of valuing different types of people. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please connect with me on my social media platforms at mykidslocker.com. Please leave a comment and subscribe to all my major social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and more. Thank you so much for joining us today for this episode, and I hope that you enjoy it. Well, if you are comfortable, then we will begin. Once upon a time, a long time ago, in the land of the Okanagan Kingdom, in the land of the Southern Eagle, there were 4 villages, and these villages were very special. These villages all were very similar. They all had families, they all had children, they all loved each other deeply, and they cared they cared for each other. But what was very special about them is they were all named after colors or shades of blue. There was turquoise, sky, water, and sea. So turquoise, sky, water, and sea. See, all of them had people who lived in all 4 villages. And all 4 villages had people who were the color of different shades of blue. So when a baby was born in turquoise, in sky, in water, and in sea, they all were a specific type of blue. And they could tell which babies were from turquoise, and which babies were from sky, and which babies were from water, and which babies were from sea, because of all the different shades of blue. And all 4 villages got along very well. However, there was a problem. And the problem was, is that as soon as you had been living on the Okanagan Kingdom for more than 10 years, something changed. See, babies and infants, toddlers and young children up to the age of 10 wandered around their villages with beautiful shades of blue on their face. If they fell, they would cry. If they were hungry, they would cry. And as children, they would throw tantrums. But what was interesting is as soon as a tear ran down the face of one of these blue people, blue villagers, it would turn silver. And so by the age of 10, most of the children, actually all of the children in the village of Turquoise, Sky, Sea, and Water had lines on their face of silver. And once the silver was there, it was there permanently. Now, somewhere along the line, the land of the Western Eagle, the wizard of the Western Eagle, had told all the older people above the age of 11 that they needed to be shamed for the silver on their faces. That if they had any silver on their faces, that would be a problem. And that would be looked down upon as that they weren't strong enough and that they were weak. So as the years and the decades and the centuries went by, the village of Turquoise, the village of Sky, the village of Water, and the village of Sea all began to change. As soon as they started turning 11, their parents would say, "Take some dirt and make a mask and cover your silver. I don't want to see your silver. It's very bad." So, in the mask of Turquoise and the mask of Sea.
You know there's water right there, right?
And the mask of Sky and the mask of Water all began to form different faces. And by the time they were an adult, all of them had masks on, masks of mud. And they were all different colors. And so what ended up happening was they didn't know who was in their village. Because sometimes people would pick up red mud and make a mask. Some people would pick up black mud. Some people would pick up sandy colored mud. There's so many different kinds of mud and dirt. Sometimes they'd crush the diamonds and cover it in their face. Sometimes they'd take clay, and that was a reddy brown. So all these villages, even though they were so special with their beautiful blue faces and their silver streaks, they came to walk in shame. Well, one day, there was a girl that was born, and she was known as Laura, and Laura had something special. See, she was born with silver eyes, and people were amazed that she had silver eyes because silver was such a shaming color. They thought, how are we going to deal with this? But as soon as she started turning 10, they started to say, you can't show your silver. So she started to put her mask on and get mud and cover her face so that they wouldn't see the blue and the silver anymore. But then, what happened? It would fall off. And people would ask her, why is it, Laura, that your mask doesn't stick? And she says, it's because I love my face and I love my eyes and I love who I am. And if you really truly love who you are and really see the beauty in yourself, the mud will not stick. So, over time, her message started to spread between the village of Turquoise and the village of Sky and the village of Water and the village of Sea. And before you knew it, all these people were walking around with their beautiful blue showing again. And they had the intricate designs of silver running down their faces. And Laura would say, what a beautiful design you have on your face, to the elderly women and the elderly men. And at first they felt embarrassed, but then began to realize that Laura was right. That maybe it just takes perspective and recognizing that sometimes our tears can actually be our triumphs and can be a way of connecting with others. And what happened was the older people started to look at the younger people, and the younger people started to look at the older people, and they started to ask about those silver lines on their face. And they became stronger, and they got to know each other, and they came to love each other. And before you knew it, the village of turquoise, the village of sea, the village of water, and the village of sky united, and they came together as one village in the land of the Southern Kingdom, in the land of the Southern Eagle. And they named their village Blue Silver in triumph of the power that they have. And they came to be known across the land of the Oak and Eagle Kingdom as beautiful, as the beautiful Blue Silver people. And they were acknowledged by everyone. The end. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And today's empathy tale is called The Beautiful Blue Silver Village, episode 71. Thanks for joining us. Well, I hope that you enjoyed today's episode of The Beautiful Blue Silver Village. I hope that you learned a little bit more about perspective taking and how shame can get in the way of celebrating our diversity and celebrating each other. If you'd like to reach out to me, please contact me at mykidslocker.com. This is Victoria Wolders, your Empathy Tales podcast host. I hope as you walk away from the story that you too will be able to create compassion one story at a time. And I challenge you today to be able to connect with someone that might have a different perspective than you, might look differently than you, might act differently than you, and might believe in different things. By learning about each other's differences, we can truly overcome any shame by embracing and caring for others through connection. Thank you again for joining us for another Empathy Tales episode. I look forward to connecting with you in the future. Until next time, I hope you too will create compassion one story at a time. Thank you.